I am live. I am live. I'm alive. So just to share the link to this bookie. I look terrible this morning as well. Oh. It's too late now. What are you going to do? So let's forward it to Facebook. Let's move the camera slightly back. Away from the face. It's funny, when I was younger, I'd always have like full makeup on, foundation, the whole works, hair and elaborate extensions and big styles and stuff. Lots of jewelry and yeah. These days it's a bit of eyeliner and that's it. I just it's funny. funny. Share on the page. Yeah. So I'm just recovering from, I don't want to say flu. Maybe more of a head cold. But it's finally coming out. So I'm flaring up. I'm bringing up the phlegm and all the mucus stuff. So it's great. Doesn't sound very nice, but it's a good sign. It means it's clearing. I'll just log out of Facebook. Buffer. Yeah, so if you hear me retching, it's because I'm just clearing it off. So, good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Sunday stream. I do these streams Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and Thursday evening at 8:30 p.m. and that's UK time. And it's live on this YouTube channel, and you ask questions through Skype. It's all written below the box, below this screen, in the box below. So I do that. I do one-to-one sessions as well. I do mothering. I cook. I drive. I plan activities. I do all sorts. Yeah. So, oh, my light's not on. Hang on, my light's not on. Let's turn my light on. Ah! It's made it worse. Let me just lower it a bit. Okay, that's better. Okay, so non-duality. Sorry, I just find it a bit silly. I'm feeling a bit silly. just bought some amazing ear defenders. Oh, it's so amazing. Very expensive, but yeah, definitely worth the expense. Yeah, I'm very sensitive to audio stuff, noise, and it really affects my system. So yeah, these are mine now, permanent things on my head. Beautiful. Okay, so I've called this stream extraordinary. No, ordinary. I think. Hey, Lola. Extraordinary, ordinary. Extraordinary, ordinary. You see, what is being spoken about is so impossible to speak about because it is so ordinary. It is so ordinary. But it's so extraordinary. It's so extraordinary when there isn't that illusion claiming that this is real, when there isn't that position of somebody living or somebody experiencing that contraction, that energetic contraction of someone experiencing this, somebody in this, living this. Then it's so extraordinary because it's just happening. Life is just happening, appearing, forming, and disappearing, unforming. Life just is moving, appearing. Just innocently happening. Which is the way it always is. It can't not be this. It can't not be life appearing as it's appearing. It's just that for a period, it seems to be an appearance of someone having an experience. That's the way it seems to appear in humans, as if there's someone holding that character, holding that human as a separate entity, as someone that life is happening to. And when life's appearing like that, it can be very uncomfortable, and there can be so much just uncomfort, and therefore seeking to find relief or find the end of that discomfort. And that's just the way it appears. That's just the way life appears for humans. As human, a seeming story builds up and begins to feel as if that story is living. That story of someone, that description of someone, is someone, an actual someone living. It's just the way it happens. It's just the way this happens. People say around the age of 2 or 3, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that's true. I have memories of being in Swansea, so I was about, from being born up to about maybe 5. And I have memories of this, this looking out, this vastness, this looking out, this mystery, wonder of this. It was just so innocent and so fresh, and I have 2 children, and I can't say when I remember when my eldest began to just to start to not think more, but began to, his thinking changed. His thinking became more complex. He could imagine more about time, what we're doing tomorrow or next week, or my daughter couldn't do that yet. She was still very much, she couldn't imagine so much about that, but he began to be able to imagine the future. She can now, my daughter, who's 6, she can now imagine the future. We're going to a party next week and these sort of things. But she can't quite measure time that much yet, whereas my son can. But I don't see intense suffering at this age. I don't see intense suffering. I see lots of, not lots of, but I see emotional outbursts that they have. It's so sweet. But it's short-lived, and I allow that to be expressed. I allow the anger and stomping upstairs and all that. But I don't see that intense suffering yet. What was I saying? I've forgotten now. Oh yeah, the extraordinary, ordinary. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what age it starts to happen. Probably around 2 or 3, it starts to happen. That ability to, not ability to, but that sense of being someone, that sense of a limitation starts, and it isn't conceptual. It's like an energetic thing, a sense of, oh, I'm someone. I'm in the body. I'm here. And it really isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that seems to happen. I think it's just the way humans are. We have this. We have this. There's actually a lot of enjoyment now, a lot of enjoyment here about being human, a lot of enjoyment in this character, in this involvement in this, a lot of pleasure and enjoyment in being human, in this expression. Life gets to live as if through a human, as if through a form, gets to play, gets to express and feel, gets to dream and imagine. But the suffering is when that is held as someone, when that feels as if that is someone, and you can't unthink that, you can't unlearn that intellectually, you can't undo that through thinking, through working stuff out. That can maybe help in some way, but this is not about that intellectual undoing, the death of the intellect. It's more a death of this movement, a death of this of this being limited, of this being someone looking out, of this being someone feeling emotions, of this being someone experiencing life, experiencing being human. It's the death of that claiming, this ownership, trying to make it into a fixed, permanent thing, when this is open and free. It has perceived limitation, but it's only perceived limitation. It is free. This is free. In it appears limitation. In it appears qualities. Birth and death appear in this, but this is free of everything, of all the opposites. So I have no idea what is being spoken about. I have no idea what I've just spoken about. Meaning, It's not here anymore. It's gone. Meaning this is it. This is it. What is happening is it. The mind holds on to meaning and what has happened. And even that is part of being human and having this brain, this complex brain. It can imagine, it can remember. But even that can be free, appearing and disappearing. There is no permanent position here. There is life happening, life moving. Appearing as all things. Good to see you. Well, good to hear from you. I can't see you. So the extraordinary ordinary is that this is happening, that life is appearing. This is the miracle, that this is happening. we imagine the extraordinary is in acquiring something, in having something, in reaching somewhere, in obtaining something. And we spend our whole lives trying to get there, trying to obtain this miracle, this big high. A condition to believe it will come in the future. Even with like Christmas, it will come in the future. When it comes, I'm gonna have this great time and this big high. And it's never it. It's never it. Like a mirage. You think it's that. And you work so hard paddling to get there or walking to get there. And it's ungraspable. It's nothing. It's empty. So all these years, whether it be at school, from school age, into work, into marriage, into whatever it is, trying to find this miracle, this big high, this big finale. But it's always been the ordinary that's been it. That's been the joy. That's been the miracle. Just in the simpleness of this appearing. That can seem so boring to the mind. Just this. I remember when it was at a point with Moody where I was like beginning to get the sense of he was pointing to this being, this isness. And the man was like, oh, for fuck's sake, all these years going to talks, and it was just this beingness. It was I felt anger and all this stuff came up about that. But it was just the mind's interpretation of this. This is the miracle. Okay, so feel free to send any questions on Skype. But just to warn you, with questions, I'm quite I find it hard to understand and interpret sometimes. So don't be afraid to be direct with me, very direct and clear in what you're asking, just to avoid that confusion and that me missing the point. So just be direct with me. I don't mind. Oh. Hi, Deepa. Hi, Rebekah. It feels like you have to step back from this moment to appreciate the extraordinary quality of it. Is that true? Not so much this moment, but it's like stepping back, you could say, from the mind, from the intellect, from the constant labeling and knowing and interpreting. It's like we've been living through the intellect, through that narrative, constant thinking and speaking. So in a way, you could say stepping back or away from that, just living through that, through the head. Without that labeling of this, it's just unknown, it's a mystery, it's just happening. But we as humans can label, we can interpret. This machine has that ability. But that interpretation isn't true. It's just an interpretation coming up, a label coming up, a name coming up. But we begin to believe and live through that reality. This moment is free. This is free. It can have labeling coming up, but it's free. That isn't the be all and the end all, what the mind thinks. Does the search stop by itself accept? Hi, Anu. Does the search stop by itself? Or does the search stop by itself? I mean, yeah, of course, it has to stop by itself. Like, there's no other option. This idea that you, this sense of you can stop anything or do anything is part of the illusion that there's an independent entity who can do or not do, who can think or not think. This is all just happening. So, of course, the stopping of the seeking happens by itself. Like the starting of it happens by itself. Life is just happening. There is no background orchestrator making it all happen. That can only be an idea that there is an orchestrator or someone. We're back in the world of ideas again. There's a God orchestrating it, or even I'm orchestrating it. Again, ideas, abstraction. And this isn't the end of abstraction or ideas, it's just a seeing that they are that, abstractions and ideas appearing. They aren't inherently true. Okay, so that the word glass isn't true. We use that word, it's a word, we call this a glass. That's fine. But it's a seeing that that word, that name, that label is just an idea we've imposed upon it. We use that, but it isn't at all describing what this is. It isn't at all getting anywhere near that. It's just a way to describe something, to communicate. So it's that innocence again, that innocence before we learned all these names and concepts. There was innocence, just life happening. We didn't know what Monday meant or what Tuesday meant or what hot meant. We learned these words to describe our experience, to describe what this was, to communicate with each other. And this is the funny thing with humans, that doesn't have to disappear. We have this ability to communicate and work together and express. It's beautiful. But the difference is that that isn't a truth. It isn't the way it is. So it's that like childlike innocence, but yet this maturity, this fully human ability as well. We never lost that innocence, never lost that childlikeness. But we began to learn and play as an adult. We learned the talk, we learned the walk, and we got lost in that as if it's true. But thank you, Deepa. Thank you, Anu. That's a nice name, Anu. Hi, Brian. Can a person be nearer or further away from what you're describing? Can a person be nearer or further away from inspiring? I don't even know what that means. What does that even mean? Can a person be nearer or further? The person is a dream. The person is an idea. Doesn't even seem relevant. Can't even move past the first point. What is the person? To be nearer or further away? That's already in the imagination of someone, of there being a person. This idea of you being nearer or further. Who is this you? Who is this person? We want to jump past that bit and go to, am I nearer or further? But who are you? Who is this person? This question can drive the mind crazy. This person seems real and to come before any questioning of its existence. This person seems real. And it seems to come before any questioning of its existence. Yeah, it seems as if it's real. It does feel like that. It feels as if there's a limitation, an edge. You stop here. So it does feel like that. It does feel like that. And all the memories of who you are and all your circumstances or your qualities go together with that sense, making up a sense of a person. So yeah, it does seem real when it's feeling like that. It feels real. And it comes before any questioning of its existence. I'm not sure what to make of that, being honest. But I agree that it does feel as if it's real. It feels as if you end, but you're limited. That you are a person, a character, a story. It does feel like that. But that's not true. But it does feel like that. But it's not true. This is what you are, this freedom, this room, the birds flying, the light. You aren't limited. You aren't a thought. You aren't a story in time. You aren't a feeling. You aren't an idea. You are everything. You're the computer. You're this form. You are all things. And yet you aren't a thing. Yet you can't be found. You're not in existence. And you're all existence. Thank you, Brian, for your question. I've lost the internet connecting. I've lost Skype. I'm not sure why I've lost Skype. It's connecting. It's great to hear you point to the illusion of this. Yeah. Yeah. What a message, eh? Okay, so thank you for joining and for the questions as well. I'm not here next Sunday. I'm doing a silent sitting session, which you can join. But I should be here on Thursday. Yeah, I should be here on Thursday. So, okay, thank you. Have a good week. Bye.